People say the internet killed old stories. That once everything got uploaded, nothing could stay hidden anymore. But I don't think that's true. Some things never wanted to be seen, and the deeper the web goes, the easier it is for them to hide. I first heard about the mirror signal 2 years ago in a thread about urban legends that supposedly began before the internet, but somehow adapted to it. The name didn't sound scary, it just sounded strange. But what caught my attention was how specific everyone's experiences were. Different countries, different decades, same pattern. A sudden flicker of reflection, followed by 3 beeps, like a digital pulse, and a shadow behind the glass that wasn't your own. Most people said it happened when they were recording something. A makeup tutorial, a webcam test, even a car's rearview mirror at night. The moment they noticed the flicker, something appeared in the reflection, faint, human, wrong. And if they looked at it directly, they said they'd start hearing a sound that followed them even when no screens were on. It would start soft, 3 tones, repeating every few minutes. This signal. At first, I thought it was just another creepypasta, until someone linked an archived news article from 2003. It was about a college student in Michigan who went missing after posting a video titled, "It Blinked First." The file had since been deleted, but screenshots survived. A dim dorm room, her face lit by a monitor, her expression halfway between laughing and confused. Behind her, in the reflection of a dark window, was something pale, its head turned toward her instead of the camera. The comments section under the repost was what really got me. Dozens of accounts claiming to have heard the same beeping after watching the clip. One said his mirror phone case started vibrating randomly. Another said her laptop camera light turned on by itself for days. They all mentioned the same thing. A shape in reflections that stood just far enough back that you couldn't see its face. That was the first time I felt uneasy about my own screen. I minimized the post, closed all the tabs, and for a moment, I just stared at the black surface of my monitor. I told myself it was fine, that I wasn't going to imagine things just because of an internet story. Then my monitor blinked. Not a full glitch, just a faint pulse of white light, like static flashing for less than a second. And in that flash, I thought I saw a shape over my shoulder, a small, human blur in the corner of the screen. I turned, and nothing was there. But my speakers, which had been off, made a sound. 3 soft tones. Beep, beep, beep. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I started to drift off, I'd hear it again. 3 tones, soft but clear, like they were coming from somewhere just behind the walls. By morning, I convinced myself it was just interference from my router, or maybe some alert I'd accidentally set up on my computer. When I turned it on, though, the speakers stayed quiet. Everything looked normal. My desktop wallpaper, my open tabs, my notifications, nothing strange. I even checked my sound settings and found no logs or alerts that matched that sound. It was as if it had never happened. Still, I couldn't shake it. So, I went back to the original thread where I'd first read about the mirror signal. It had been removed overnight. The page said post deleted by user. But the comments were still visible for a few minutes before they vanished too. A few users had left links to a private Discord server called Reflector Study Group. The name made me laugh. It sounded like a bunch of kids pretending to be paranormal investigators. But curiosity got the better of me, and I joined. The server was quiet, maybe 30 people. The chat history was full of images, screenshots, timestamps, and strange diagrams of mirrors, cameras, and light reflections. The pinned post was from a user named Kettle Ghost. It read, "If you've heard the signal, it means you've already been noticed. The reflections remember you now. Don't try to record it again." I typed in the chat, "What happens if you do?" No one answered for a long time. Then a reply appeared from a user named Yunloop. They looked back. Before I could ask what that meant, another message appeared from Kettle Ghost. "Close every reflective surface. That includes your phone." Then the chat went silent. At first, I thought it was some roleplay gimmick, but the next evening, something happened that made me realize it wasn't. I was video calling my friend Megan. She lives in another state and knows how easily I get caught up in creepy stories, so I told her about the mirror signal just to hear her make fun of it. While I talked, she leaned closer to her camera. "Dude," she said, half laughing. "There's someone behind you." I spun around, nothing there. My room looked normal. "Ha," I said, forcing a smile. "Good one." She didn't smile back. "No, really. He was right there. I saw movement." She pointed to the screen. "He was in your reflection." That stopped me. There was a window behind me, sure, but it was shut and dark. Only the faint reflection of my lamp was visible. Then, for a split second, the glass flickered white, the same faint pulse I'd seen the night before. Megan's face froze. The call cut out. My speakers clicked. Beep, beep, beep. I called her right away, but her phone went straight to voicemail. I tried again, then again. Same thing. The silence between the rings felt heavy, like the world was waiting for something to happen. I told myself her Wi-Fi must have dropped. Maybe her power went out. But then my own screen flickered. Not the whole thing, just the small black strip of the webcam feed. For a moment, it turned pure white. I covered the camera with my thumb and yanked the plug out of the wall. The sound didn't stop. Beep, beep, beep. It was softer now, like it had moved behind me instead of coming from the speakers. I turned around slowly, staring at the blank window. The faint reflection of my lamp shimmered again, then steadied. I told myself I was done, that I wouldn't read another post, wouldn't go near that Discord again. But by the next morning, the beeps followed me into the kitchen, into the bathroom mirror, even into my phone screen when I tried to text Megan. That's when I went back to the server. Only 3 users were online: Kettle Ghost, Jan Loop, and one more named Mirror by Design. The chat window showed new messages I hadn't seen before. Mirror by Design. She didn't disappear. She crossed over. They copy you first, then step out. Jan Loop. It always starts with the call. Kettle Ghost. Stop interacting. Disconnect your devices. Don't let them get your reflection too long. I typed, "What are they?" No one answered right away. Then Kettle Ghost replied. They were us. Every image, every mirrored face, every selfie. Every time a camera turns on, we leave something behind. They've been watching for years. The signal isn't a sound, it's a bridge. I didn't believe him. But that night, while brushing my teeth, I noticed something in the bathroom mirror that froze me. My reflection's mouth wasn't moving with mine. It lagged behind, a half-second delay. I froze, toothpaste dripping down my chin, and just stared. It blinked when I didn't. I backed away, keeping my eyes on it. The mirror shimmered like there was heat behind it, though the air felt cold. I turned off the light, but the reflection didn't go dark. It stayed visible, lit by the faint blue glow of something behind the glass. I ran. I spent that night in the living room, curtains closed, phone face down. Around 3 a.m., my screen lit up by itself. A call from Megan. I stared at it, hands shaking. I let it ring once, twice, then declined. A message appeared immediately after. Look at me. The word stayed on my screen for a second before the app crashed. I threw the phone across the room. It landed face up. The screen glowed white, faint static crawling across it. From the speakers, soft but unmistakable. Beep, beep, beep. By morning, I had convinced myself it was stress. Maybe sleep deprivation, maybe my mind filling gaps that weren't there. I kept thinking about Megan, about her frozen face on the call, about that message that appeared from nowhere. Maybe she'd been hacked. Maybe I had. I forced myself to act normal. Coffee, emails, routine. But the world didn't feel right anymore. Every reflective surface caught my eye. My phone screen when it dimmed. The microwave door. Even puddles on the street seemed to hold a shimmer, like they were waiting for me to look directly into them. By noon, I cracked and opened Discord again. The server had changed. The title now read, Reflector Study Group, Archive. Only one user was online, Kettle Ghost. The others were gone. Before I could type, a message appeared. You saw her, didn't you? I hesitated, then replied, "Megan." "Yes." She called me. What happened to her? A few seconds passed before another message appeared. She answered the third call. "You didn't." I stared at the text until my vision blurred. "What happens if you do?" I asked. "You change places." I started typing. What does that mean? But the server glitched, the screen flashing white, then black. When it came back, Kettle Ghost had gone offline. That night, I left every mirror covered. Even my phone stayed off. But the sound still found me. Faint. In the walls. In the floorboards. In my chest. Beep. 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 I finally snapped and pulled the blanket off the bathroom mirror. I stood there, staring into the dull glass. My reflection looked normal, but my eyes felt wrong, like they weren't focusing at the same depth. Then, slowly, the image began to brighten, not from the room light, but from inside the reflection itself. Behind me, in the mirror, the doorway was visible, and someone stood there. I turned fast, but the real doorway was empty. My heart was hammering. When I looked back, the figure in the reflection had stepped closer. Just a dark shape, thin, human-like, its head tilted too far to one side. It raised a hand, and so did I. At first I thought I was copying it, until I realized I wasn't moving. The reflection was leading. My own hand trembled to match it, like invisible strings were pulling it upward. Then the mirror flickered white, and I was on the floor. When I came to, the room was quiet again. My watch said it was 3:33 a.m. The mirror was dark, my face reflected faintly in it. I didn't see the figure anymore, just myself. But my reflection was smiling. I wasn't. It took a long time to understand what happened next. My phone turned on by itself, the same way Megan's had. A new message notification appeared from an unknown contact. "You left the light on." And underneath it, another message. "We see you. Beep, beep, beep." For 2 days, I didn't leave the apartment. I kept every reflective surface covered. Foil, towels, anything that would stop the light from bouncing back. But the sound didn't stop. It followed me into sleep, into silence. Always the same rhythm. 3 beeps. A pause. 3 more. The first real moment of quiet came when I unplugged everything. Router, phone, even the lamp with the polished metal base. For almost an hour, there was nothing. I sat in the dark and let myself believe it was over. Then my laptop, which wasn't even plugged in, lit up by itself. A white screen. No icons. No taskbar. Just a faint shimmer, like a reflection seen through fog. Words began to appear, one letter at a time. "We can finish what she started." I typed back before I could stop myself. "Who are you?" There was a pause. Then the reply scrolled slowly, as if written by a hand on the other side. "Look." The camera light clicked on. My own face filled the screen, washed in pale light. For a moment, I thought I was just staring at myself. Then my reflection blinked, but I hadn't. It leaned closer to the camera, expressionless, until its eyes filled the frame. The sound started again, louder now, coming from inside the laptop itself. Beep, beep, beep. I slammed the lid shut. The sound didn't stop. The tone seemed to vibrate inside my teeth. I tore the battery out, then the noise finally faded. After that, I packed a bag and left the apartment. No screens, no mirrors, no glass. I found a cheap motel that still used old brass keys and had windows covered in wooden shutters. The clerk didn't ask questions when I paid cash. That night, I sat on the edge of the bed and tried to piece everything together. The posts, the missing people, the beeps, the reflection that moved first. Every story on that server followed the same pattern. First the signal, then the flicker, then the reflection gaining control. The ones who answered the call were never heard from again. I realized something else. Every post ended abruptly, no goodbyes, no warnings. Just silence. As if the moment they said too much, they were gone. I looked down at my phone, still turned off in my bag. A part of me wanted to destroy it completely, but another part, some desperate, stupid part, needed to know. I turned it on. It booted up normally. No missed calls. No new messages. Just a black wallpaper that should have been blank. But for a second, I thought I saw something faint in the reflection. The outline of a face, standing just behind me. Then the speakers clicked. Beep, beep, beep. I dropped the phone, but the sound grew louder, echoing from the walls, from the window glass, from the old TV in the corner, even though it was unplugged. The mirror on the bathroom door began to fog from the inside, and words appeared slowly across the surface. It's your turn. I don't remember what I did next. Maybe I ran. Maybe I stared too long. The last thing I remember clearly is my own reflection stepping out of the fog, expression calm, as if it had been waiting. When I woke up, I was standing in the doorway, watching myself sleep in the bed. The body on the mattress breathed slow and steady. And somewhere behind the glass, the beeping started again. Beep, beep, beep. Then silence.